Every night you lie awake, tossing and turning, feeling that tightness in your chest after turning 60, could be your body asking for help through food. If you're over 70 and experiencing moments of emotional distress, where your heart races for no apparent reason, where small everyday situations become insurmountable mountains, you need to know that there's a deep connection between what we put on our plates and how our nervous system responds to the world. During a particularly difficult morning in the emergency room, I met a wonderful couple, Dona Eulalia and So Joaquim, both over 75. They arrived in a state of panic because she had suffered such an intense anxiety attack that they thought she was experiencing a heart problem. While the tests confirmed that everything was physically fine, I observed something that would completely change my understanding of nutrition and emotional balance in old age. What I discovered that night, through this couple's story and hundreds of other similar cases, is that our mature brain possesses a very specific chemical language. After age 60, the natural production of neurotransmitters like serotonin and GABA declines significantly, creating a fertile breeding ground for anxiety to take hold more persistently. But nature, in its infinite wisdom, has offered us foods that act as true natural medicines to calm our minds and restore our inner peace. If you recognize this feeling of being constantly on alert, if small noises make you jump, if sleeping has become a daily challenge, if you feel like you've lost the tranquility you once had in your youth, I want you to type "yes" in the comments. This simple gesture will be the first step toward regaining your serenity through smart, scientifically proven dietary choices. Dona Eulalia held her husband's hand with a strength that betrayed decades of companionship, but also revealed the desperation of someone who could no longer control her emotions. At 76, she told me that for the past 3 months, she had been waking up every night with her heart racing in a cold sweat, feeling that something terrible was about to happen. So Joaquim, always protective, had begun to sleep poorly too, worried about his wife who no longer smiled as she used to. What struck me most was when she described her eating routine: black coffee in the morning, sweet cookies mid-afternoon, a very light dinner, and a glass of warm milk before bed, always hoping to relax. It was a pattern I observed repeatedly. Wonderful people trying to do their best for themselves, but inadvertently creating a cycle that fueled the very thing they were trying to combat. During our conversation, I explained how the brain after age 70 needs specific nutrients to stay calm. It's not just about eating well. It's about understanding that each food carries a chemical message to our neurons. When we choose the right ingredients, we are literally sending calming signals to a nervous system that, with age, has become more sensitive and reactive. 3 months later, I met the couple again, this time in the hallway of the hospital where I work. Dona Eulalia walked lightly, smiled naturally, and so Joaquim had regained that sparkle in his eyes. A look that comes from sleeping well next to someone he loves. The transformation wasn't just physical, it was a reconnection with the peace they both thought they'd lost forever. The change began with their plates, but extended to every aspect of their lives. The first food that transformed this couple's lives was something so simple that they initially doubted its effectiveness: almonds, tiny seeds that carry within them an extraordinary power to calm the mature nervous system. Neuroscience shows us that after age 60, our brains require very specific amounts of magnesium, and a deficiency of this mineral is directly linked to episodes of anxiety, insomnia, and irritability. Dona Eulalia began by consuming just 7 almonds mid-morning, along with her favorite warm tea. What she didn't expect was to notice, within the first week, a significant reduction in the tightness in her chest that had been with her since breakfast. The magnesium in almonds acts as a natural muscle relaxant, but its most impressive effect occurs on the smooth muscles of blood vessels, promoting a feeling of relief that spreads throughout the body. But the real secret of almonds for people over 70 lies in their ability to regulate the production of cortisol, our stress hormone. When we slowly chew these tiny seeds, we activate a cascade of chemical reactions that culminate in the release of calming neurotransmitters. The act of chewing itself sends signals to the vagus nerve, our main communication pathway between the brain and body, to promote relaxation. The second food that completely changed the couple's outlook was avocado, a fruit many people avoid because they believe it's high in calories. Joachim, always skeptical of new things, agreed to include half an avocado in his lunch just to support his wife. What he didn't imagine was that within 15 days, he'd be sleeping like he hadn't in years. Avocados contain significant amounts of tryptophan, an amino acid that's a precursor to serotonin, our neurotransmitter of happiness and tranquility. For older adults whose natural serotonin production has already declined considerably, consuming tryptophan-rich foods is like providing quality raw materials for a factory that was operating with limited resources. Furthermore, the healthy fats in avocados facilitate the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins essential for brain function. The third food revealed itself during a particularly hectic morning when Donna Eulalia felt that familiar wave of anxiety coming on. On impulse, she made a cup of chamomile tea with a spoonful of pure honey, something her grandmother used to do in times of family tension. The result was so quick and effective that she called me that same day to share her discovery. Chamomile contains apigenin, a flavonoid that binds to the same brain receptors as anti-anxiety medications, but in a completely natural way and without side effects. For the mature brain, which already has more sensitive receptors due to hormonal changes with age, chamomile acts as a gentle chemical hug, promoting relaxation without excessive drowsiness. Honey enhances this effect by gradually providing glucose, stabilizing blood sugar levels, and preventing spikes that can trigger anxiety. Joachim discovered the fourth food almost by accident while visiting his grandson, who was making a banana smoothie for his school snack. Upon tasting the drink, he felt a surprising sense of well-being. He decided to include a ripe banana in his breakfast and noticed that his days began to flow more naturally, without the constant rush that had plagued him since retirement. Bananas are an exceptional source of potassium and vitamin B6, essential nutrients for the production of calming neurotransmitters. Potassium helps regulate blood pressure and heart function, two common concerns that lead to anxiety in older age. Vitamin B6 directly participates in the synthesis of GABA, our main inhibitory neurotransmitter, responsible for calming excessive brain activity. For people over 70, a banana in the morning can be the difference between a hectic day and a balanced one. The fifth food emerged during a moment of particular vulnerability. Donna Eulalia had spent a week caring for her grandson with the flu and felt all her hard-earned peace of mind slipping away. That's when she remembered something her mother used to make in stressful family situations: a simple oatmeal and vegetable soup, always eaten late in the afternoon. Oats are a nutritional treasure for the aging brain. Rich in beta-glucan, a soluble fiber that stabilizes blood glucose levels for hours, preventing the fluctuations that often trigger anxiety attacks in older adults. But the true power of oats lies in their ability to promote the sustained release of serotonin, creating a sense of well-being that remains stable throughout the day. When we prepare oatmeal properly, letting it cook slowly until it forms a creamy consistency, we are creating a food with high therapeutic value. The smooth texture is especially important for older adults as it facilitates digestion and allows for better nutrient absorption. The ritual of preparing and consuming warm oatmeal also activates our parasympathetic nervous system, promoting a natural state of relaxation. What's most impressive about these 5 foods is how they work synergistically. It's not necessary to consume them all on the same day, but when included regularly in your diet, they create a nutritional support network that naturally and lastingly sustains emotional balance. Each one acts on a different aspect of the nervous system, but they all converge toward the same goal: restoring the tranquility our age and experience deserve. Click the notification bell to not miss the next videos, where we'll explore specific recipes and even more powerful combinations of these transformative foods. Observing this couple over the months, I realized something that goes far beyond nutrition. Dona Eulalia began to remember the garden she tended when she was younger, where she grew chamomile and mint. So Joachim remembered mornings on his father's farm when meals were simple but nutritious, prepared with ingredients straight from the land. There was an ancestral connection to these foods that transcended their chemical properties. Neuroscience teaches us that positive memories associated with food activate brain areas related to pleasure and safety. For mature individuals with decades of food experience, choosing ingredients that evoke fond memories significantly enhances the therapeutic benefits. We're not just nourishing the body, we're nourishing the soul with memories that bring peace. During one of our conversations, Dona Eulalia confided in me that preparing chamomile tea had become a sacred moment in her day. It wasn't just about drinking the tea, it was about reconnecting with her grandmother's actions, with a wisdom that had crossed generations and reached her when she needed it most. This emotional dimension of food is often underestimated, but it can be as powerful as any nutritional value. Joachim discovered that slowly peeling a banana, sensing its texture and aroma, had become a form of active meditation. Each deliberate gesture connected him to the present moment, interrupting the cycle of worries that used to dominate his thoughts. Mindful eating, especially in old age, transforms each meal into an opportunity for healing and renewal. Share this video with someone you love who may need to rediscover peace of mind through mindful, purposeful eating. This couple's transformation didn't go unnoticed in their community. Neighbors began asking about the visible change in their appearances, and friends noticed they both seemed more energetic and calm during social gatherings. What began as a personal need became a source of inspiration for a whole network of seniors seeking natural alternatives to manage anxiety and stress. Dona Eulalia began sharing her chamomile tea recipes with her knitting group friends. So Joachim began bringing almonds to meetings at the retirement club, always accompanied by explanations of their benefits. Without realizing it, they became multipliers of knowledge, proving that knowledge about therapeutic nutrition grows when shared generously. What strikes me is how small dietary changes can create ripples of transformation that spread throughout families and communities. Grandchildren visiting their grandparents start asking for banana smoothies. Children rediscover the joy of drinking tea with their parents, and ancient recipes are revived and adapted to contemporary needs. Food becomes a link between generations, carrying not only nutrients, but also affection and care. During our last meeting, this couple taught me something no medical textbook had shown me. True healing doesn't just happen in the individual body, but in the connections we create around the table, in the conversations that flow while we prepare our food, in the peace we radiate when we feel truly nourished. At 75, they have rediscovered not only tranquility, but also the power to positively influence everyone around them. If you've made it this far, leave a comment telling us which of these 5 foods most piqued your curiosity and how you plan to include them in your daily routine. Dona Eulalia and So Joachim's journey taught me that it's never too late to regain our inner peace. At 76, they proved that anxiety doesn't have to be accepted as an inevitable consequence of aging. 5 simple foods, almonds, avocado, chamomile, banana, and oats, have become the pillars of a more serene and balanced life. What moves me most is realizing that nature has always known exactly what we need. These foods aren't modern discoveries. They're treasures that have accompanied humanity for millennia, patiently waiting for us to rediscover their wisdom. For mature people who have lived so long and deserve to enjoy each day to the fullest, they represent a golden opportunity to regain inner peace naturally and sustainably. Remember that small, consistent changes create extraordinary transformations. You don't need to completely revolutionize your diet all at once. Start by including one of these foods per week. Observe how your body and mind respond, and celebrate each small improvement. The peace of mind you seek is closer than you think. It may already be waiting in your kitchen. If this content brought hope to your heart, click like, share it with someone special who needs this message, subscribe to the channel to receive more insights into therapeutic nutrition for seniors. And in the comments, share your experience or ask any questions. In the next video, we'll explore practical recipes and even more powerful combinations of these 5 transformative foods. Your journey to serenity is just beginning, and I have many discoveries to share with you.